So yeah, it's been about 4 months since I've actually posted a video, and now I come back to you from a host so graceful that it has Goat Satan on the wall. So here I come to you from beautiful Vancouver, which I'm just going to show some clips of on top of this thing because it's raining outside and I'm not even going to... It's been about 4 months of adventure just to get to this point, and I'm quite happy with everything that's gone on until now. I've had a lot of ups and downs over this journey, but it's been a lot of fun. I originally arrived in Toronto about 4 months ago, back at the end of June actually. I landed in Toronto with literally zero plans. I just booked a hostel for 2 nights and that was it. I had to make up the rest entirely as I went. Oh, look at me, I just got up to Canada, and I'm staying in probably one of the most chill hostels that I've ever come by. I'm really enjoying it here, actually. I had a bit of a fun time getting into the country, because I ended up getting, like, flagged suspicious, and had to go and speak to an immigration officer, and then, well... The guy talked to me for like 5 minutes and then was like, yeah, whatever, I don't care, you're fine. But now I'm over in this little quaint neighborhood, which I quite like. I'm over in Toronto in a little bar. Well, a little coffee shop. I booked a hostel that's just in this little coffee shop, which is really cute. I like it. I'm in Toronto in a Canada Day festival. It's great. I'm here with my big, like, I got a flag on my back. I'm here with a friend, also wearing a flag, and it's gonna be fun. Look at everything that's going on. It's just so cool. Woo! Well, just come up to the...
Have you ever had a beaver tail?
I have not.
That is not a euphemism.
Okay, let's try something.
You gotta get you a beaver tail.
I mean, this thing already looks beautiful. I'm beaver tail with maple on it, so it's going full Canadian right now, and I'm gonna... Oh my god. That was better than I expected. I'm getting it all over my hands as well. It's dripping down me and I don't even care. I had a good time with a couchsurfing host when I was in Toronto, but then immediately after that I ended up going to Kitchener, where I hung out for quite a few weeks actually. I ended up making one of my plushes while I was there, the Tapu Koko, which I actually have here still, and I got to see some nice like little music festivals and other things like that. It was a nice little hippie toad, and I really like those kinds of places. And oftentimes one thing that I really love when I travel is not so much to see like the big sights or anything like that. Like I'm often not that interested in being a tourist. It's more so just feeling what it's like in that kind of environment, and I really got that while I was in Kitchener. But then immediately after that, I ended up going up to Montreal for a bit, where I ended up going to a convention, Otakuthon, where I actually ended up getting a panel somehow, where I was talking about my game for a bit, so I got to do a little bit of marketing for my Floating Wonderland project. Woo! I'm genuinely happy that so many people come. I didn't expect that. I genuinely didn't expect to have so many people around, but yeah, I've been working on this thing, Floating Wonderland, which, as you can see over there, is a little platformer. The type of world that I'm trying to build right now, it's like this whole area with like all these floating islands. Like a lot of these islands have like different kinds of biomes and whatnot, so we got like this volcano island over here, and we got like a big grasslands and doing as you, because you know, this is a project that's still in development. It's got a lot of, and this is only one of the stages as well, so I can go into the second one. And while I get into the second one, I can actually talk about some of the differences between each of my characters as well. So this is my main character, whose name is Kimiko, and she's a rabbit, as you can see. She's a little telekinetic rabbit. Especially because a lot of people like me, but she's like the dragon girl who has wings and such, and everyone just sort of. Whenever I've taken this to conventions before, because sometimes I've done like convention tables where I had, and every time they do, they always pick Mima. Mima just seems to be the one that everyone likes. Also, I mentioned before that I was a Toho fan. I'm sure a lot of them do a little. Actually, I'll come down here, and she can do a little fire roll, which actually like gains speed as it goes down slopes. Which again, not Sonic. I'm totally. This is a ritual game, guys. No, that's a bug. Just ignore the fact that bugs exist in this game. You know, that's another thing that you get when you're developing stuff. I can get a little bit into the development a bit later actually, because I've got things like the debug menu where you can actually see like all these numbers that it's crunching in the background and all the sensors and such. But I'll get into that a little bit later. So all these people have put together like entire games on their own, and a common theme behind a lot of this is like. A lot of them have effectively been like just sort of bums before they and just kind of just working on their own putting together something that they were really passionate about. But it's something that I can really admire, because it's like people like have passion for their for what they want to do, and like it's a very difficult thing to do, to put together an entire game by yourself. You have to learn a lot of different skills, and you have to be able to you have to have that determination, especially to like, you know, to be confident that your ideas are actually good, because there's so many games out there that can fail, and you do have to spend a lot of time just sort of convincing yourself that no, my game is actually a really good concept, and I can get somewhere with it. I also got to meet some quite nice people over there. Like, Montreal's a pretty interesting city, honestly, and I'd quite like to go back there at some point. After that, I ended up in Ottawa, where I stayed with another nice couch surfing host who was he was a lovely guy. We had like quite a few other couch surfing people there. Like, there was like one of the nights there was a Polish. There was these two Polish guys who were like trying to road trip across the continent, which was interesting. Although I'm not quite sure they realized the scale of just how far they'd be driving. Like, they like flew into New York and they were like trying to get all the way to San Francisco and then back again. And I was like, do you really think that you're going to do that in the amount of time that you've set aside for yourself? But whatever. There was also a German guy who came over who was like about to go to school over there, and I think he was just sort of like settling himself into the thing, so he was staying in the couch surfing while he was trying to figure out all of the other place. But that was a lot of fun. But yeah, while I was in Ottawa, I actually found out that I got accepted to exhibit my game at PAX, and they sent me the paperwork, which I printed off and went and filled out in a little clip that I have here. Okay, it's mid-August and I'm over here in Ottawa, and I just got all of this paperwork to sign up for. You've been invited to exhibit at PAX, and I'm excited about this. This is some really expensive shit, and I'm quite nervous about doing this kind of thing, because it's like it's a major investment to be making in my project, but I have a lot of confidence in my work. I'm just one person. I'm hoping that I can sell my stuff on some strong character, I guess. I gotta fill out a bunch of stuff, a bunch of company details, which is mostly, like, since I'm an individual, it's just gonna not be that hard. I'll send this off when I get to Vancouver next week. Then immediately after that, I ended up getting Greyhound bus, like, all the way across the continent from Ottawa to Vancouver, which, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but it was fun. After that, though, I actually didn't stay in Vancouver. I actually, when I arrived in Vancouver, I immediately started heading out for the islands. So I went off to Victoria, but then head from there to Salt Spring Island, where I was staying for a bit. Salt Spring was a really nice place. It's a nice, like, hippie island, and it's got a lot of nice things. I was staying with some really interesting hosts over there, although I kind of ended up having a bit of a fallout with those people, so I ended up just sort of being stranded on Salt Spring for a bit until a friend of mine, a cosplayer back in Vancouver, just like pretty much rescued me from the ferry terminal and took me to her place over in Surrey. Then I ended up hanging around in Vancouver for a bit. Accidentally got myself a table at Fan Expo, which that's a bit of a story on its own, actually, because the friend that sort of rescued me from the island then ended up introducing me to another friend of hers, who ended up introducing me to a Discord server of artists living in Vancouver. And then one of the artists was like, "Oh god, I have to drop out my table on for Fan Expo," and I was like, "I'll buy that off of you." So there we go. It's haphazardly setting up a table at a convention, which just means so far that every convention that I've attended this year, I've either had a panel or a table at. Because I did Decon and Rycon over in Scotland, where I tabled at both of them. Then I went and had a panel over in Otakuthon, and then Fan Expo, and then I'm heading up to the big one next. So I'm actually going to hitchhike my way all the way down south until I get to Texas, where I'm planning on going to the big one of this year. I'm going to PAX in January, which I also have a table at. But that's going to be great because I get to exhibit the indie game that I'm working on, which has been coming a long way since the last time that I spoke about it here. So what are my plans going forward? Well, pretty much the same plans that I had for when I arrived in Canada, which is basically no plans. Like, I'm pretty much going to make my way into Seattle at some point this week. Then I'll head off to Portland probably. Then, you know, just keep going south until I get hit Santa Cruz again, which I really want to go back to that place. I want to stop by the video game store and stop by just some of the people that I know down there. And then just keep on going as I head inland towards Texas, where I get to go to San Antonio, probably meet up with my close friend Mysterious Future. We'll probably like do something nice for Christmas. Probably even go down to Mexico actually, which will also be fun. I get to go 3 countries during this entire journey. And then after that, I get to see how the game gets received when I take it to PAX, which honestly, I'm actually quite nervous about. It's extremely above any kind of scale that I've ever done this at, and like, whilst I do love just throwing myself in the deep end and seeing how things go, this is just really nerve-wracking. Like, I think what gets me worried the most is the fact that it is going to be an environment where, like, I'm surrounded by a bunch of other developers, many of which are going to have, like, bigger teams and budgets than I do, and I'm just one girl just putting together a game in her spare time while she's effectively couch surfing as a hobo, like, going down the continent. Like, I don't expect to be able to match up to anything that I'm against up there. I don't really want to let myself down on this whole thing, and this has been a passion project of mine for, like, you know, more than 2 or 3 years now. So yeah, I'm super nervous about this. If things go well though, I'm hopefully gonna try and, like, do a crowdfunding thing for my game. Like, if people like it that much that they wanna help financially support the project, then that's gonna feel like so much validation for me. Like, people actually believe in my project and people want to help me bring it forward. Like, if people actually want to help me on the project, then it does mean a lot to me. And if that's the result of when I take this to PAX, then I'm probably gonna cry. Anyway, so as I said, at the end of this week, I'm probably gonna start making my way down to Seattle. It's gonna be fun. I'm totally just gonna make things up as I go along, as I said, and I've got $38 to get me through this, so yay. I'll see you guys when I hit the US, and hey, if anyone lives on the West Coast, just let me know. I'll probably be passing by at some point. And for anyone coming to PAX, I'll see you there. And goodbye! Special thanks to all my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to join in on supporting my projects, or if you'd just like to follow me on social media, including my Discord server, then the links will be in the description. Also, there's a playable alpha demo of my game available on my website, so check that out while you're at it.